Landlords in Berkeley, California threw a party to celebrate the end of the city's eviction moratorium, but there was a crash of the party by renters. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have a kind of a funny topic to talk to you about today, and it has to do with this party that landlords in Berkeley, California threw to celebrate the end of the city's eviction moratorium. Now, I actually covered, the end of the city's eviction moratorium in a video just a short while back, and basically it was one of the very last eviction moratoriums in the entire country. Okay, that is how bad it was. Obviously, Berkeley is extremely liberal, extremely far left leaning, and they absolutely hate landlords. They hate people with properties. They want to take away people's property rights. It is basically the worst of the worst in the state of California, worse than San Francisco. And anything that's happening there, I'm not really surprised about. I wouldn't be surprised if the city just said, hey, we're going to confiscate every landlord's property and then give it away for free to the homeless. That wouldn't even surprise me, okay? But for now, they are still trying to pretend as though that, they want to let landlords own their properties and have property rights. But, this party that these landlords threw, it's kind of like, we're spitting in the face of all those greedy tenants who decided they wanted to abuse the system, not pay their rent for 3.5 years. Okay. Nobody who has not paid their rent for the last 3.5 years, nobody, absolutely zero of them are people who actually needed it. I guarantee it. Okay. I will just sit here and I'll be like, no, absolutely not. Simply put, if you were unable to pay your rent for 3.5 years and you think a landlord, not the government, not a charity, but a landlord, a private business owner should pay your rent for you, you are a thief. Period. That's what you are. You're a thief. So yes, these landlords should be celebrating the end of this government power grab where they basically had their money stolen and their property stolen from them, and now they are finally able to file eviction against awful scammer tenants. So yeah, it's not surprising, but do I think it was a good idea? Absolutely not. Okay, you should have known that what happened was going to happen. The renters, they came in, a whole bunch of these far left leaning hippie protesters came in and caused a fight. If you're going to have a sort of party like this, you should have it an hour away in a much more conservative place, because these people, they don't have cars. Okay, they ride public transportation, and you go somewhere where the public transit can't get to it, or they can't ride their bicycle there, and they're just not going to show up. Okay, just kidding, of course. But yeah, a bunch of protesters showed up at this landlord's party, and it's absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion, that they thought that, oh yeah, this was going to go by just fine. No. The second they said they were throwing the party, yeah, it was a spit in the face to these tenant rights groups and to the city and to all these left-leaning people, right? And it riled them up. And if you're going to celebrate, you should celebrate somewhere in private with locked doors where these people can't get in. Anyway, before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. So if you were a landlord out there in Berkeley, California, would you have thrown a party like this, or would you have attended this party? I would not have, okay? I probably wouldn't own a property out there, first of all, but let's say that I did, right? And I was one of the landlords and I felt like celebrating. Well, I probably would not have even gone to this, because I don't want to deal with protesters. I don't want to, these people, they're always trying to provoke you. They're like trolls. They want to get you mad so that you do something dumb, and then they'll be like, see, he assaulted me. Arrest him, officer. They want to get you in trouble, right? Well, the easiest way to avoid a troll is to ignore them. And, I just would go back to doing my business, quietly evict my tenants, no celebration necessary, long as I get my property back. And then if I'm a small property owner, I'm selling it. I'm selling it. I'm getting out of the landlord business. I'm investing out of state. That's what I would do if I owned a property in Berkeley right now. Now, I know. Berkeley's a college town. there probably is very, very, very good money to make in Berkeley for those who know the system, know how to operate. But you see, this sort of thing, this eviction moratorium, it is one of the reasons why I would never invest in such a place. Okay. But anyway, let's get into this article. This article is coming from the New York Post, and it says Berkeley renters crash a vicious landlord cocktail party celebrating the end of eviction ban. This is what tenant power looks like. It sounds like a moron. I know. I read it like a moron was saying it. But anyway, let's get into the article. A violent brawl broke out when dozens of angry tenants barged into a cocktail party held by landlords to celebrate the end of a local eviction moratorium. Around 100 angry renters showed up to the event with picket signs and a cake that read, "Hey landlord, get a real job," to protest outside the party until things got heated. Yeah, I should just stop right there because it's a common misconception amongst tenants that landlords, they don't have a real job. They just sit there and they collect rent. Yeah, we're just collecting rents and, driving in Ferraris, right? No, no. It is a real job for a lot of especially the small mom and pop landlords who do a lot of the stuff on their own. They make the repairs on their own. They do all the leasing on their own. Like if it wasn't a real job, why am I paying a property manager to manage all of my rentals? Because there's a ton of work involved and it was taking up too much time. Not only that, but even the small mom and pop landlords, the majority of them actually have a job and own rental properties. Okay, that is something that a lot of people don't seem to realize. They think that landlords, they make all of their money off of just their rental properties. No, most small mom and pop landlords actually have full-time employment on top of the rental properties, and they're the ones who are getting screwed the most when they have a tenant who isn't paying rent, because then they have to pay all of their bills and they have to pay the tenants' bills for them as well. It's absolutely ridiculous. But let me continue. The disruptions quickly flew into a rage when demonstrators entered the Free House bar and the two sides began shoving and punching each other. Berkeley Property Owners Association President Krista Gulbranson told Berkeley side. The renters carried picket signs that read, "They throw us out, we throw them out," and "No peace for evictors" when they descended on the party Tuesday. This is what tenant power looks like. This is what tenant power looks like. What a bunch of idiots. First of all, you don't have any power. Okay? If you want power, go buy your own house. Go buy your own house. Simply put, if you want property rights, you cannot take property rights from somebody else's property. You gotta be like, oh, you know what? Bob down the street owns a house. I'm just gonna take his house. No, it doesn't work that way. Go buy your own house if you want property rights. Okay? The only thing you are is a bunch of good for nothing, lazy losers. And, I'm not talking about all tenants. I'm talking about these people who scammed the system for 3.5 years so that they didn't have to pay rent, so that they wouldn't be evicted. If you didn't do that, hell, if you didn't pay rent for 6 months and tried to scam the system and not be evicted, if you didn't pay your rent for 1 month and tried to scam the system and use these landlords and take their money and take their property, you are a loser. You are a scammer and a loser, and you deserve to be evicted. I don't understand what the argument is. There is no argument. You pay the money that you agreed to pay. You signed a contract. You are a liar if you signed a contract and then you don't do what you swore that you would do. What a joke, you know? But I'm going to put a link to this article down in the description below. It's kind of interesting. If I can find the video, I'll throw part of the video up, showing these ridiculous tenant protesters. But, like I said, nothing coming out of Berkeley, California surprises me.